I got these two products from Amazon, and I wanted to be able to see the level of the propane in my tanks. This is the sensors that go on the bottom of the tank, and this is the Mopeka brand. But when I got these, it just said AP products, and I'll put the link for these down in the comments below. And this is the newer one, and you can see it comes with the metal clips. The earlier versions had plastic clips, and a lot of the comments said that those didn't work, but it still showed the plastic clips in the product description. And I also saw several people getting these. It's a halo that it just goes around the bottom of your tank, and this one is the rubberized deal, but it's solid all the way around, but it does have drainage holes in it so that water can get out. So I'm going to put these on. We're going to try it and see how everything works. Okay, now to sync the sensors with the monitor, we're supposed to click the sync button here on the sensor 5 times to wake it up. And then I'm supposed to press and hold the button here till the lights start flashing. And it should pick these up. And then I press the sync button on the sensor, and it should be connected now. Now let's do the other side. And that one should be synced up now. When you get these tank sensors, they're supposed to be color coded. Here, there's black dots on both of mine. There should be a black dot and a green dot, but just so I can tell them apart, I just took a Sharpie and I wrote D for driver's side and P for passenger side. And I also did that on the monitor itself so that when I'm inside the camper, I'll know which button I'm pushing. Okay, here I am outside, and I just took the tank down, and I took one of the halos, and I just pushed it on the edge all the way around. It was real simple. It just fit like a glove. So here I've got my sensor, and this is the passenger side, and it's got the sensor in the center right here, and then it's got the 2 magnets. And when you put it on the tank, you don't want to center it like this. You want to put the sensor in the center. So your sensor is actually going to sit a little off to one side, but you want to make sure that that sensor is there in the middle. So I'm going to stand this back up. And I'm going to hit the passenger side one. And this one should be pretty full because I just had both of them filled. So it's reading full right now. And I am going to set this tank back up here, and where my tanks sit is a solid base. So if you have one that has, it's just got a strip here where it's open, you may want to possibly put something just over that one spot so that your sensor doesn't fall off when you're in transit, or you could take it off, but that might be a little bit of trouble. Before you put the sensor on the tank, you want to make sure you clean it real good so that you've got a good connection. And I'm going to put this one on there. And these are pretty strong magnets, so they'll sit on there pretty well. And if your tank is real rough, you may want to sand it down, or the grease will probably help. If you're having trouble with your sensor not getting a good connection, there is a little tube of this dielectric grease that they send with you, and you can just cut off the end of it and put just a little dot here on the sensor, and that just helps seat it a little better and give it a better connection. Okay, so now I'm inside the camper, and I have this sensor, and it comes with these screws, that you can use to put them in the cabinet. But if I put this up here next to the board that's here, this screw sticks out a little bit on the back side. So what I may end up doing, instead of actually putting screws into here and having this up here, I may just get a command adhesive and put it on the back of it. Let me take the screw out so I don't lose it. Anyway, so now I can see if I put the driver's side on, it senses that one. And if I do the passenger side, it senses that one. And when I set it up here on the counter, it's going to be the same way that the tanks are, so that's going to work out just perfect for my setup here. And I will do a video after I've used the tanks and to see the difference in the levels, and we'll let you know how it goes. Okay. Now that I have the actual little monitor that came with the sensors all set up, I'm going to go ahead and set this up on my phone as well. And I'm using an Android, but it may be the same on the Apple phones. So what I'm using is the tank check, which is by Mopeka. And when you first open up the app, it's actually looking for your devices. So I've got the tank, and I'm just going to hit the sync button on the sensor. And it found the new device. I'm going to stand this back up so I can get its reading. And it's telling me that this one's empty, but I know it's full, so give it a minute. Sometimes it takes up to 30 minutes when you move the tank around and tilt it over, you know, for it to settle out. So while I'm waiting, we're going to change the device name, and this is going to be driver's side. That way I'll be able to tell the sensors apart. While I'm waiting for that one to settle, let's come to the other tank. Sync on that one, and it found it right away. And the same thing, I'm going to come into this one, hit the settings, and I'm going to call this one passenger side. And it's already got its sensor going. And I'm going to have to check this tank because I know I just filled it, but the sensor is wanting to slide around a little bit, so I may try and put some of that grease on there to see how it does. But that's how you set up the app, and then from here you'll be able to see your levels as they go down, and you can see the update rate and the sensor type and everything from there. Now that I'm getting readings from both of my sensors, I'm going to go into the app here, and I'm actually going to make a little bit of changes. So I've already done it on the passenger side, but on the driver's side, I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to hit the settings button up at the top right. And the tank size, I'm going to change that to a 30-pound vertical. And this is a propane tank, so I'm going to leave it on 100% propane. And the notifications I can set, there's an alarm threshold that you can change here. So I'm just going to leave that 20% is good. And then how often I want to be notified, you can do it every 12 hours, 6 hours, once a day. You can change that. So I'm just going to leave it at the every 12 hours. So you can set these notifications so that you don't have to keep coming to the tank, you know, or your monitor or your app. You don't have to keep coming back, you know, all the time checking it. You can actually set these thresholds, because when it gets low in the middle of the night, which is the only time that a tank gets low, you'll be able to see it, and you'll know approximately how much you've got left. And so now you can see that my tank levels, now they're showing that they're not 100% full because it is a 30-pound tank. So again, I'm going to leave these running, and I'm going to see how this does a few months down the road, or at least after the cold season here. And because I will run my propane to run my refrigerator sometime, especially if I'm boondocking. And then I'll also run it for the furnace, you know, when we're still going to be having days that are, you know, way low. And for me, anything lower than 70 degrees is cold. So, you know, wasn't built to deal with the cold. So we'll see how this goes, and I'll do an update here later.